those who are still alive, we want to thank him for giving us the opportunity to live throughout Ramadan, and we celebrated Eid, alhamdulillah. I want to ask him to accept our Ramadan and whatever good deeds that we made therein. May Allah's peace and mercy be descended upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who came with everything, the nitty-gritty of whatever we need to do to live a happier life. It is the 6th day of Shawwal, 1445, and the 15th day of April, 2024. We are into the Alhidaayah show, the Monday edition, where we do focus on Islam and science, and we look at a number of topical issues, and we have been looking over it, the halal diet. So we have talked a number of things on that issue. We started it last week, and we made the preamble. This evening we will be continuing with yet another topic, but something that is going to be addressed to you soon, inshallah ta'ala. And I'm your brother Menya Ayub Kibedi, who is going to be your host this evening. And in the studio I have our sister Dr. Nakinsige Hadija, who is a lecturer senior lecturer at Chambogo University and the head of the department, as well as a lecturer, also a senior lecturer at IU. Sister Dr. Nakinsige, you are most welcome to this program. May you say salam, then we can be able to commence our program, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank Allah for the gift of Ramadan. We also thank Him greatly for having enabled us to celebrate it. We are happy for our brothers and sisters who have started fasting Sittat. We congratulate you, and we also implore those ones that have not yet started that we still have time. It's not yet too late. You can start. So, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm happy to be here once again.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, sister, for honoring our invitation. As we told you on this Al-Hidayah show, Salam TV, we bring you the top-notch people who have authority to speak on typical issues. So, because we are talking about halal diet, we had to look for a guru in this area, and Sister Dr. Nakinsige is that person that you can trust, who is having a PhD in this area, so it should be the right person to speak to us about this subject. Now, as we made the introduction last week, we were talking about, we are giving a preamble to do with the halal diet, and we took the narration of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he was telling us, in al halal bayn wa in al haram wal haram bayn wa baynuhuma umur mutashbihat. So, in as much as what is halal is clear and what is haram is clear, there is always a gray area where we need to bring the gurus to speak to us about the things that are doubtful, because these bring confusion, and somebody who tries to dare them may end up falling into haram. So we also made mention of some of the big things that have been mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah, the 3rd ayah, of what has been prohibited to do with the dead animals, the swine meat, things to do with the blood, and anything that has been, whose name has not been mentioned, the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as it was being slaughtered. and that's when we ended that program. So we were looking at a number of things there. Now this evening I wanted us to concentrate, because now we made mention of the certain things in the ayah of Surah Al-Ma'idah. We made mention of the dead animals. Of course, those are clear that once you find any kind of animal that is dead, you are not supposed to tamper with it. And we had a discussion to do with even things that are in water. Those are having exceptions. Now, I wanted us to go to a second point to do with what has been termed here as swine, or the meat of what we popularly know as pork. It is because you said pork and all its products. This now becomes something that is complex. Yes, the pork we may know, but what may come out of the pork is something that is not very clear to us. So I beg we start from there, because yes, pork, it is something that we can easily know, but now beyond the pork.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Brother Menya. Like we said last time, that it is unlikely that as a Muslim you will walk into a supermarket that you have gone to buy pork. That one will never happen. In fact, even when at one time there is a certain hypermarket in Kampala that was marketing its sausages, and then on a pack of pork sausages they started with the word halal.
So it raised the eyebrows.
Of course, they say halal pork. Subhanallah. These are two completely different things that can never be put together.
The two cannot be in one sentence.
Actually. But because halal is looked at as a marketing tool, and globally the brand halal is looked at as one which is of a better quality than other products. I think globally, when you go to the international markets, they look at halal and kosher for the Jews, as being a very good products. The reason being is that in the fulfillment of the requirements for halal, the first basic quality requirements have to be fulfilled. So when you add on the ones for halal, then the product becomes very good. But even with that, I don't think those two should ever come together. But you say yes. So you said swine or pork and its products, or even by products. Now, whereas we do not expect a Muslim to go straight to look for pork, there are other products. And I'm speaking this from experience, because I say that for me, I'm a food scientist. I studied how to process, how to preserve, how to add value, how to analyze food is what I studied. Now, in doing food processing, we bring too many ingredients and we put them together in order to make a product. But even before we look at food processing, let's even go back to the kitchen. These chefs, when they are cooking, they also combine several ingredients to make a recipe that they are going to use to produce a certain product. And this is where the problem comes from. So you find someone makes a recipe, and this recipe is for preparing maybe a meat pie or a samosa, what normally people call sumbusa. But then they put their ingredients, beef, and indeed they bring the beef or chicken. But then one of the other ingredients, this is used to aid in the mouthfeel of the product, to make the product taste better and softer What do they add? Animal fat. And what is the quickest source of animal fat that is readily available and cheap? Lard. Now, when they use the word lard, very many people will not know what lard means. But the word lard means fat from the pig. Pig fat, if I can use. Lard equals to pig fat. So if I find that this is a meat pie, or this is a samosa, or this is a meatball, which you have bought from this hotel, and it is beef, and indeed it is beef, but while they were preparing it, they added lard. So this makes the whole samosa or meat pie haram, because they have added an ingredient which was decreed as haram by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is where we need to be very conscious and very sensitive as Muslims. Before you run for any food that you find in a restaurant, in a hotel, it is better you first understand what it is made of. Don't just say, I'll give you another example. In many of these big hotels, they prepare chicken, whole chicken. And you know, people enjoy having the whole chicken. They normally say stuffed chicken, grilled. You see the whole chicken rolling. When you go to Wandegaya, you see that inside that chicken, they normally put cabbages, they put Irish potatoes, and some curry, some green pepper and carrot. Now, when you go to big hotels, you find that what they use to put inside there to stuff the chicken is not normally the cabbage and the Irish potato of what they do in Wandegaya. You'll find that they can say stuffed chicken. When you ask what was the stuffing, then they say bacon. Now this is where the problem comes from, because now there is bacon. Where is bacon coming from? Pig, because bacon is a porcine product. And by the way, bacon can be made even from beef, but I want to assure you that 95% of the bacon on the market is all from pork. And you could find only 5% could be made from beef. And even that 5%, you can only trust it if you found it maybe in Islamic countries. If you found in Saudi Arabia when they are saying bacon, then you will be sure that that one is maybe bovine bacon. But the one you will find in our secular states, please be conscious. Then you also find in hotels for breakfast in the morning, they prepare breakfast and then they put bread sandwich, and for you see a sandwich, and in between the sandwich you see a very nice looking, well sliced layer, and they say that is ham. Now for you go for that, but what is ham? It is actually a porcine product. So these words, members, please take note of these words wherever you meet them: ham, bacon, lard. Those words actually mean pork in one way or another. So please try to avoid them. Then we also have still a challenge when it comes to pork. Now, in many restaurants or hotels where they prepare both pork and then other products which are not pork, you find they're using the same saucepans. They are using the same chopping board. Actually, someone has a chopping board, and on the chopping board now they are cutting pork. Then after pork, it is chicken. Then after chicken, and you know the requirement, if you're going to use the same utensil or cutlery or anything, the Prophet ﷺ taught us what to do. We need to do ritual cleansing of this utensil before we utilize it again. Now here you are, you have, and you know ritual cleansing, this is washing that is involving 7 steps, and one of which should be made of sand. And in Halal certification, they require that this ritual cleansing should even be supervised by a competent authority. Now in Uganda, we have 2 competent authorities for Halal, the Uganda Halal Bureau and the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. So if this washing has not been supervised by a licensed or certified officer or competent officer from these 2 certifying bodies, then we are not certain whether it has been done properly or it has not been done properly. Remember that it should also be done by a Muslim, because it is a Muslim who has that fear. that consciousness that, oh, if I leave traces of pork here, I'm going to be committing a sin by making the Muslim faithfuls to eat pork. So they will be conscious. But another person may not be conscious about the pork. And the same applies to us who have relatives who are not Muslims, with all due respect, and we love them. And Islam taught us to treat them well. And that is the only way we can do dawah on them. But we need to be conscious. You find you visit a home. I have a farm in Luwelo. One time I was driving to Luwelo, and as I was bypassing this home, the home of the chairman for the LC in a certain village, and he has his pigs in his compounds, and he had splayed maize in the compound. The maize is drying, but there were several piglets which are playing within, which are playing in this maize. You can imagine already urine or excreta is nagis. Actually, when you look at the pig itself is the nagis. It is the biggest nagis. Then its urine is equally nagis. Even urine of a human being is nagis. Then how about that one of a pig? Now these animals, they are playing in the maize. You can imagine they leave their fur there, they leave their urine there, they leave their excreta there, and now it is this maize that we later come and buy, and we take to the milling machine, and then we are eating maize. But we are eating maize which has been contaminated with
the pigs and all what comes from.
Yes, I was very concerned, and I stood like for 5 minutes. I actually even recorded a video and took even photos from that incident. Then this one small piglet moved from the maize, and it went next to the kitchen, and there were utensils there. There was a saucepan there, and it started leaking in the saucepan.
I can imagine.
No, yes, because we need to be very, very, very conscious with the community we are living in, because people are free to practice their religion. In Uganda, the same way as Muslims are allowed to practice our religion is the same way every other person is also acceptable to practice their own religion. And we have to coexist with them. But as we coexist with them, we have to be very, very, very sensitive. Now, when they slaughter this animal, it comes along with, it has a lot of fat, which I said is used to make lard. But even at the home scale, the other fat that remains, it is used for cooking. Someone is cooking beans, but adds this fat to make the beans look fried and look nice. I was told someone visited a home and they served them popcorns. 2 kids came from school, and then they went home for break. Then when they reached there, the mom of the friend served popcorns. So when they had started eating, then this friend caught the hand of this Muslim friend and said, hey, sorry, don't eat. I said, why now? The popcorns are looking nice. I said, no. When mom was frying these popcorns, he used fat from the pig. And I know you are a Muslim and you don't eat. And these were P3 children.
Now, Doctor, I will have to cut you short from there. It is very worrying story, but let's go for a short commercial break. This is something that is very sensitive, and we'll be back in a short way, inshallah, and we'll pick up right up from there, inshallah. Don't go.
Eno, yes, Salam TV.
A new day, new dreams. Cross from you turned my life around. My mama said it's comfy, fine, durable. Rose form gives you quality.
You're welcome to the Rose Farm family, where you find every mattress you've ever thought about. Rose Farm, a world of beautiful dreams.
Rich! the Queen Cobra, the password of the money, the original no spare parts, the 11th commandment, the question and the answer.
Osmosis, manyo yagala sente naye nange sina.
Ah no, sente chikulu. Enaku zino momo ensorting anytime. In fact, mwanyinazi, nawe kankusorting.
Really?
Nkuwereze endagiro y'okufuna looni ku momo. Nze wendi ku lulwo. Mpako bu chips.
Bw'oba weetaaga looni olina MTN Momo weesootinge. Kozesa Momo app obannyika *555*5# okufuna looni ey'amangu. Londako looni ekukolera okuva mu looni ez'ebika eby'enjawulo eziva mu bannaffe be tukolagana nabo. Nga tuli wamu tewali kitulema.
Explore, enjoy, and dance to the latest content, beats, and kawozi from Uganda and beyond. Simply go to your Play Store or App Store right now, find Afro Mobile, download it straight to your phone, and get started. Is it TV you want? Simply open the app, click on TV, select the channel you want, and watch live. Are you busy right now? Then check out On Demand, enjoy in your free time. Afro Mobile. The future is now.
I'm one of the scientists now doing research on plastic technology recycling, where we can be able to produce other products from plastic waste. For example, we are trying to develop a plastic tile with sand plastic tile, that it is unbreakable, it can be shifted from one roof to another. So this is a project we are working on. It's our initiative as Kazire Group of trying to reduce waste from the environment. Brothers and sisters, Taso Butonde for a better Uganda.
This message is brought to you by National Environment Management Authority, Kampala Capital City Authority, Vivo Energy, Airco, Pepsi, Stanbic Bank, and NBS TV.
Boom Chakala! Grab a Rock Boom, check under the cap, energize and win smartphones, flat screen TVs, Rock Boom gear, motorbikes, and millions. I mean millions of cash. What you see is what you win. Boom Chiki. Boom Chakala.
Tata Jona, Randy Road Yarawuna to get the Yakonkona. Hey. Tusawo kubeera mu dduka lwaki tetugenda mu Infotrust Property Consultancy ne tutandika mpola. Infotrust Property Consultancy balina ettaka ku nguudo zonna n'ebibuga byonna era nga poloti zaabwe zitandikira ku miliyoni 3.5 ezitali za kyapa so nga ate ez'ekyapa zitandikira ku miliyoni 12 era bakkiriza n'enkola eya kibanja mpola. Infotrust basangibwa Kamwokya Kira Road poloti 87 nga wakava ku Rubis Petrol Station. Essimu 0709 98 19 37 oba 0774 32 23
Infotrust for the humble beginners.
Eno ye Salam TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewer, once again I want to welcome you to this Alhidaayah show, the Monday edition, where we are looking at very topical issues that raise eyebrows. And it is, you just have to get glued to this program, and you can be able to understand quite a number of dynamics around you. And today we are looking at the halal diet, the accepted and prohibited foods. And the concentration for this evening has been on the pork and its products. So Dr. Nachinsige, as we went for a short commercial break, were giving us, that scenario where we, people, the kids were taking popcorns and, the fats that had been used to, to fry were from pork. And this really raises eyebrows of where should we get things that are safe. But beyond that, there are quite a number of other things that are suspicious. Me, when I'm very hesitant, actually, I've not tasted a sausage in Uganda except outside Uganda. For some reasons, I feel I'm not comfortable to eat a sausage on this market. Let's start from there. For people who are not like me, who enjoy the sausages, are we safe with the sausages?
Sausages. We may or we may not be safe, because sausage is a meat product. It is made from meat. It can be made from the meat of goats, from mutton, from sheep. It can be made from beef. It can be made from camel meat. It can also be made from pork. Now, when it is a pork sausage, automatically it is haram. So that one, everyone, it's clear that this is pork. But the problem is when it is beef sausage, when it is a chicken sausage, but then it is adulterated. Adulterated, let me use the simple way what I mean by adulterating. We all understand milk, right? Milk amata. People that sell milk, I'm not saying everyone, but some, when they are going to sell milk, they add some water. But they sell you the milk at the same price of
the pure
milk, although they have not added water. They don't start calculating that, it is 50% milk and 50% water, so the price has reduced. So in the food language, when we say adulterating, it means someone has intentionally added a cheap ingredient in a product, but with the intention of selling it at the price of the standard product. So in the manufacture of sausages, we are going to look at 3 important things that should make us worry about eating sausages from sources which we are not sure of, or maybe those ones which don't even have a halal certificate, or not a halal mark. Now, in the process of making sausages, we normally add fat. So how do people make sausages? You get meat, you add spices, you add, they call them chua ingredients. So you add all those ingredients together, and then you put them in a machine that is going to chop the meat into that fine paste that you see. I think commercially they use a bowl cutter. Now, in that process of making this sausage emulsion or paste from the meat, normally fat is added. And why is fat added? It's to make to have a good mouthfeel, to make the sausage soft, and when you put it in the mouth, it is juicy. Now, otherwise, if you don't add fat, or if you use only lean is that meat that has no fat and that has no bone. So when you use lean alone, the sausage is coarse. So to prevent the sausage from becoming coarse, the people that prepare these sausages normally add a lot of fat. And where is the cheapest source of the fat?
I don't know. It's what we are
it's what we are worried about, lard. So you find that someone is making chicken sausage or beef sausage, but they add lard. Now that is one reason for worrying, addition of lard. The next thing to worry us about sausage is the casing. Because when this paste or emulsion is made, it is supposed to be stuffed in that cavella-like material. We call it a casing. Now that casing can be made from a cellulose, which is okay, it is a plant material. But that is hard, and normally when you're eating that sausage, you need to remove it because cellulose is not digestible. Or it can be made from collagen, and now collagen comes from animals, can come from animals. That takes us back. Which type of animal? Was it an animal that is halal or the one which is not halal? Who slaughtered this animal? Did the other slaughter requirements that we talked about, were they fulfilled or not? If they were not fulfilled, so then a question mark is put on this cellulose casing. But then that is not the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is where we use intestines of animals. Do you know the small intestine of animals? Have you ever slaughtered a goat and you see that? The small intestine, which is very long. Now, sausage can be, the sausage paste can, or emulsion can be packed inside that very long small intestine. And then you just need to sausage, and of course, you make several sausages from that long intestine. Now, commonly, you can use the intestine of goats. That one is okay. It is acceptable, right? But now, our biggest worry, and where we put a question mark, because we don't see on the market offers for the other animal being sold. So that is one candidate where we can get the casing from, the intestine of a pig. So where would that put the product? That is another reason for worry, the casing. So we have two reasons to worry so far. We have lard or animal fat. The question is where the animal fat is coming from. And then another one is the casing. Then another reason to worry is on a stabilizer. When we are making foods, because you know you cannot mix water and fat. You cannot mix water and oil. People of chemistry, they will tell you that organic solvents, which are non-polar, do not mix with water, which is polar. So you find that when you put cooking oil and water together, the water will go at the bottom, and then the cooking oil will go on top because of the differences in their density. Now, away from that, when they are making this sausage, you have the fat, you have the meat, you have the spices, you have all other ingredients which cannot mix under normal circumstances. So you use mechanical force and you force them to mix. But what happens is that with time, when they settle, the stability of this emulsion or paste is going to be lost, and the fat is going to coagulate and separate. The water content will also separate. The meat content will also separate. Then you will see patches in this sausage casing. So to prevent that, in the manufacture of sausages, they add a stabilizer. A stabilizer is something in which in chemistry they call a surfactant, that has both the polar and the non-polar end. In other words, it is able to attach to water, but it is also able to attach to organic solvents. Now here we have fat, which is organic, does not dissolve in water. So when we introduce this stabilizer in our sausage, it is used to make the sausage stable such that it does not separate. Now, problem is that there are so many sources of stabilizers, but the commonest stabilizer that is used in the manufacture of sausage is called gelatin. Gelatin. Now this gelatin is made from pork. We normally make gelatin from bones of animals. But the commonest, in fact, research has indicated that 65% of all gelatin on the market is coming from pork. They actually, in science, they normally use the word porcine. When they say porcine in science, they mean something from the pig. And when they say bovine, they mean something from the cows. So the biggest percentage, 65% of the gelatin on the market is coming from pigs, not from cows. So now, here we are, we have reason to worry. We have a stabilizer that is gelatin, we put a question mark. We have animal fat, which can be lard, we put a question mark. We have casings, which can be cellulose, which is okay, but if it is collagen, we put a question mark. And if it is intestines, we also put a question mark. So you can see there's so many question marks that are being put around the sausage. So it is for that reason that people like you and I, who are very sensitive, we fear to eat sausages because we are not sure that all these factors are constant. But when all factors are constant, when all the ingredients are from a halal sources, then the sausage will be halal. But if one of the ingredients is haram, then the entire sausage is haram. So before you enjoy your sausage, because I know very many people enjoy sausages, so before you enjoy it, first put those so many question marks. If they are all answerable with a tick, then you go ahead and eat the sausages. But if they are questionable, then it is better you avoid the sausage.
It is it is something that is raising my eyebrows also the more. You know, one of our elders used to tell us that some people, you know, they enjoy life because they don't know. So because if somebody, whenever you get into a situation of getting more and more aware of what is going on, then you become more and more worried, and you feel uncomfortable, you feel irritated, and it doesn't give you even the sleep, the quality of the sleep that you would wish. But for somebody who is still green about so many things, will have the comfort of sleep and will enjoy even the sleep the more. It is something that, you know, you and me and whoever is out there should really pick interest in, and perhaps it can give us a better insight of how to relate with our environment. Now, talking about sausages or leaving it aside, let's talk about the minced meat.
Minced meat.
Yes.
Okay. Now, minced meat, because minced meat we use it in different recipes. We use it when we are making maybe spaghetti bolognese, we use it when we are making meat pies, we use it when we are making meatballs, we use it when we are making meatloaf, so many recipes, and depending on where you come from. I know for us in Buganda, we don't commonly use minced meat in cooking. Very few people utilize it. But elsewhere, it is one of the commonest ingredients in everyone's home. And some people, when they want to do maybe meat pies or what, they go and buy the minced meat. And actually, there are people who have mincers commercially. You come with your meat, then they mince for you. Now, for me, that even creates more worry. Because this person who has a mincer is entitled to serve every customer that comes along their way. So when a customer comes with carrion, meat from animals which have not been slaughtered accordingly, they will mince. When another one comes with pork, they will mince. Then when someone has just removed their pork for you, you'll come with your chicken, and they will also mince for you. Because for them commercially, that is their job. You give them meat, they give you minced meat. Now that causes for worry. Then, if you have looked at minced meat very well, it is better when it has some fat. Because you see, there is a saying that the sweeter to the closer to the bone, the sweeter
the meat.
The meat. And I can assure you, the more fat in the meat, also the sweeter the meat. Now, when people want to make, so okay, you don't want too much fat, but at least you want that fat that is going to make the meat juicy. Now, in making this meat juicy, you tend to add some fat. So if I'm selling you a minced meat, and then this meat is so lean, it has no fat at all, and then here there is some fat, I may tend to add in some fat to make my minced meat good. But where is the fat coming from? A question mark. So that is also a cause for worry. But if you can get your own mince at home, and by the way, they are small, portable, home use mincers, which you can, they are even manual. You put the meat and you can manually operate, and you get minced meat. I would advise our people, if you enjoy minced meat, instead of taking the minced meat to the commercial mincer, at least buy a small mincer, a manual one. Have it in your home. When every time you want to prepare your minced meat, get your meat, put it in a mincer. Within 2 minutes, you will be done. And you'll be good to go, but you'll also be on the safe side.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nakinsige. It is, you know, we can have so many, but because in the interest of time, because we are running short of time, I've been writing my notes here, and I find certain, as if there are so many things that are coming from the swine. And you talked about, I just wanted to have for you to throw more light, or you have talked about something to do with lard, something to do with bacon, then ham. What are these? And as in your closing remarks, I will need you to tell me for the benefit of the viewer, why is it that all these are coming from pork? Can't we have alternatives? Can't we? Because it is as if every other corner that you are trying to maneuver and avoid, you are finding either stabilizer there, which is gelatin. You are finding either, you know, so many things around this. Why is it this now? But before you get to that, what are these? The bacon, the lard, what are these?
What are
in the layman's language?
In the layman's language. I actually don't even know how I can term them in the layman's language, but let me try. Because when we say lard, we mean fat that is coming from a pig. Fat, no more fat, amasavu, but is that one that is coming from the pig. Now when we say...
So technically they call it lard.
Technically they call it lard.
So it should be for some reason as to why they are calling it that.
Let us assume that it is just the English word for it, and we'll leave it at that. But just know that lard, the word lard, is an equivalent in Luganda, and in at times when we use Luganda, the language becomes too sensitive. The word lard means amasavu gembizi. And you know when you use that one, now everyone, they even get goose pimples. Yes. So that one is lard. Then the other one is bacon. Now bacon is also meat, but meat that is already processed and handled to be used for culinary purpose or in cooking. You know, so they will have removed the stones. Sorry, not the stones, subhanallah. The bones. They will have removed the bones from the meat. It will be well chopped, and you will not find it in the pork joints. You will find it in the supermarket, and it is labeled. And normally, except
labeled bacon?
It is labeled bacon, yes. It is sold as bacon. Even ham in the supermarket, it is sold as ham. But because these people who study to become chefs, they have told them that when you're doing this, you add this, you add lard, you add, like people who make sandwiches. When you go to hotels, especially big hotels in the morning, you see things like the way you can get a slice of bread, then in between there is a leaf-like, you know, meat layer that they put inside. That meat-like layer, very slim. Looks like as if you have sliced cheese, and then you put a layer of cheese on the bread. It's what I'm referring to as ham. So when you go to the supermarket and you see to the restaurant or to the hotel, especially in the morning, those of you who enjoy bed with breakfast, be conscious of that. That meat like which you see looks like a slice of bread. Just put in the middle of the bread and you make a sandwich. That is what is called ham.
In a minute, to do it, why from this, all this?
Why? And let me first also say this, that the only reason, and not scientific, not anything, but the only reason why for us as Muslims we don't use the pig is because the pig was forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Alim. So in his wisdom, the most knowledgeable knew why he forbid us from using the pig. But I can assure you there are so many products, so many. Actually, every part of a pig in technology can be used to make something. Whether it is hair, it is fat, it is the nose, everything can, anything on the pig can be utilized to make a product. And because of technology, these products are being made. You'll find you're putting on a belt and or you're using a shoe brush and the bristles were made from the hair of a pig because of technology. And because commercially these animals are easy to rear and they can eat basically anything. So they are cheap, and because they are readily available here, they take a little time to grow. So people prefer, yes, so people prefer to use them as a cheap raw material during manufacture of different products. And a lot of products, cosmetics, medicine, food, the normal consumer products that we use on a daily basis. If I showed you a picture of a pig and the products that come from it, you can even get worried that, oh, the lipstick, the soap, the brush, the what, everything can come from there, the toothpaste. You can be worried.
I will have to cut you short because you may make people feel so shivered, and they will fear anything that is around them
That does not have a halal mark.
Yeah, it has been quite an exciting program, and because of time we will have not to exceed here. Until next time, we shall be here next week with a continuation of this very program, inshallah ta'ala, and the very topic. Until then, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Elo, yes, Salam TV.